What is up, my butter biscuits? Y'all, it's been a hot minute since I wore a hoodie on camera. I just feel like really cozy right now, which by the way is really weird. If you guys live in California, you guys know our weather has been a hot mess recently. Like Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, and the day after that was like all 81, 82 degrees. And then all of a sudden now it's 50 degrees during the day and raining. I'm like, our weather is a trip these days. So I just felt a little bit cozy. Anyways, that is completely off topic. As you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about Morphe, which I wanted to say like, okay, this came out of left field, but then really it didn't come out of left field because I do remember about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I did a video when supposedly it had got leaked that Morphe was facing a bankruptcy. So now we are seeing that they are obviously doing something. I don't know if they are following through with the bankruptcy. I don't have any updated information on that. I am going to be reading an updated article though about the whole situation, but not really so much into detail about the bankruptcy because I was super curious about that, but there's really not too much updates about it. But as you guys have probably already heard by now, because I am a couple days late with this, a lot of Morphe stores are closing. And actually, just yesterday, I was in the Burbank area, so I did do a little drive by and check out the Morphe freestanding store over there, and it looked empty. So I was like, oh my gosh, they really are closing the stores, which y'all know, like, look, I feel like this is such a like difficult situation for me to comment on because if I'm just keeping it real, I want to tell you guys, well, oh well, karma back to Morphe. Like, on like y'all, let's keep it real. How many influencers out there, how many like commentary channels out there have said time and time again, Morphe is probably one of the shadiest brands. So I want to say, oh, karma, but then also at the same time too, I really do feel bad for so many employees that are losing their job and right around the holiday season. And this one girl, I'm going to play her TikTok within today's video. I thought this was so messed up. She's a store manager and she got like a 4-day notice or a 5-day notice. And I'm just like, this is so messed up. I will say that they are giving out severance packages from what she was saying, but it's just still kind of messed up. I feel like Morphe is like they know enough. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have known this ahead of time. They could have gave their employees a couple weeks notice, even a month notice. You know what I'm saying? But just to do it around the holiday time, like I just feel like that's so messed up. Because can you imagine like losing your job around the holiday time? You just spent all this money on holidays, and then you're losing your job. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's so messed up. I do feel like obviously it's a tricky situation with Morphe because I feel like if they would have played their cards better, they would have been like on and thriving. But y'all, so many influencers have dropped Morphe or Morphe has dropped them, you know, like James Charles and Jeffree Star. But then Manny Mue doesn't talk about them anymore. And Laura Lee was dropped, you know, so I'm just kind of like they've lost out on so many big influencers that I really do wonder if this has played a role in them going out of business. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they're going out of business. I just think that they're going to be becoming an e-commerce brand only. They're probably shutting down all of their freestanding stores so that way they don't have any overhead. So that way they can just have a warehouse and pay warehouse employees to ship and, you know, fulfill their orders, you know. So anyways, we're going to be talking about that within today's video. But I do have the question for you guys. Do you guys feel like if Morphe would have stayed loyal, oh my gosh, if Morphe would have stayed loyal to the influencers, do you feel like they would be going through this right now? Because I do see a lot of people talking online right now that, oh, if they would have stayed loyal to Jeffree Star and James Charles, and they would have still been thriving. However, I feel like it's really hard for any brand to be thriving how they were like 3 years ago, 4 years ago in today's age, because there's just so many brands out there that make it really, really hard. And on top of that too, I do feel like now a lot of people know that Morphe is obviously kind of like a private label brand. So you're not going to get like the best quality products. You're just going to get, you know, good prices. But y'all, so many brands this day and age are having like really good sales. Like I've talked about before, even with Pat McGrath, like Pat McGrath is such a bomb brand and they are constantly having like 30-40% off sales. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, might as well just pay a little bit more for some quality, you know, because you can get some really good palettes from Pat McGrath for really cheap, y'all. Speaking of which, it's after Christmas now. I was going to do a video, however, a lot of the things that I would purchase have sold out, and I was going to talk about that Pat McGrath palette. It dropped down to $60, and then you can get 20% off on top of it. So I'm just like, it's a really good deal, you know, during this time. So anyways, y'all, make sure you guys check out my second channel. It's linked down below. I have new videos there every single Sunday. A lot of you guys are telling me that you guys didn't know that I had a second channel, and I'm like, I mentioned it in every single video. It is linked down below. It's my travel channel, and I would really appreciate if you guys show me some love over there because I've really been having a whole lot of fun with that channel. So let me shut up. Let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. I also want to say at the time of filming this, Morphe is having a big old sale. I got an email actually just this morning saying that they're having an extra 50% off sale items. So if you head over to their website, you can type in the code extra50 and get 50% off if you guys are looking for any deals. There are some products on here, literally like a full-on package. Say for example, the Jaclyn Cosmetics, it's called the Sweet Glaze Lip Lacquer Trio. This is $27, and when you put in the code, you do get an additional 50% off. There are some items on there like a brow freckle pin that's $4. You can put the code in and get it for $2. Like, you guys can scroll through their thing if you guys are looking for a deal. A lot of Jaclyn Cosmetics stuff is on there. All of her lips are on there. The Pout Spoken lips are $8, and then you do get an additional 50% off, so you can get it for $4. So if you guys are looking for a deal, they're having some really good deals going on right now. I do think that they are really struggling, but honestly, y'all, I feel like a lot of brands are struggling. It's just like there's just way too much competition out there. I know you guys are like tired of me always giving an apology. I've seen this comment several times, and a lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, you apologize in every video. You don't have to apologize, but I'm going to apologize right now because I'm going to read this article from discontinuednews.com, and it's pretty lengthy. And today is just one of those days that my brain is just not functioning. You guys know I always have this problem where I'm like, oh my gosh, I get scatterbrained and I can't read correctly. So I do apologize if this is a little bit of a hot mess, but it is pretty lengthy. However, I do feel like it is important to read this so that way you guys have, you know, an update on the situation. And just in case you guys didn't see before about the bankruptcy, they talk about this within here. So I want to go ahead and read this article. So this is what it says right here. Is Morphe going out of business? Forma Brands, the parent company of Morphe, is considering Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company has approximately $600 million to $700 million in debt. People familiar with the process told Beauty Matter that the company was considering various options to strengthen its financial position, but that no final decision has been made. Forma Brands is involved in constructive discussions with its financial stakeholders. This is done regarding ways to strengthen the company financially. Also, it helps to reinforce their focus on the opportunities they see ahead for the brand. A company spokesperson said that they are excited about the products and will keep bringing them to customers. According to the WWD, this had happened due to a combination of factors such as the pandemic, lowering demand for color cosmetics, and scandals involving Morphe's key faces, Jeffree Star and James Charles, may be the reason. Also, supply chain disruptions have affected sales. Let us view in brief Morphe's financial conditions. So it says Morphe Cosmetics are also referred to as Morphe brushes. It is legally identified as Morphe Holdings, stylized as Morphe. It is a cosmetic and beauty manufacturing company based in Los Angeles, founded in 2008. The company provided direct-to-consumer digital retail distribution of personal care and cosmetics through collaborations with social media influencers. Morphe severed ties with several partners after they became deeply involved in controversy. Morphe Holdings revealed in August 2019 that it had formed a new collaboration with General Atlantic, which would acquire a significant stake. Further conditions of the transaction were not disclosed. However, Morphe's current shareholders will remain as the company's shareholders. Morphe.com, Morphe Stores, Ulta.com, Ulta Stores, and direct online Amazon.com stores all have authorized retailers of the company. Also, these authorized Morphe retailers can only ensure a genuine Morphe product. So then it says right here, is Morphe in financial trouble? Linda and Chris Tawil are siblings who purchased Morphe in 2008. They bought them at a trade show-based brush operations. This gradually builds into a packed beauty brand through influencer collaborations. General Atlantic, a private equity firm, obtained a 60% stake in Morphe Cosmetics in 2019 for $2.2 billion. Morphe was noted to be on track to do nearly $500 million in net sales with about $130 million. I don't know what this is in EBITDA. Don't even know what that is at the time of purchase. Forma Brands was founded shortly after the purchase in 2019. They formed a global growth-focused beauty forum. Also, it's served as an incubator, accelerator, and curator of next-generation beauty products. The company also released Morphe 2, a skincare line called Bad Habit, Jaclyn Hill's Jaclyn Cosmetics. They also purchased two brands of products from Manzanita-owned Space brands. They are Playa Beauty and Lipstick Queen. COVID-19, the decline in the color cosmetics category, and supply chain issues have all troubled the company. But see, I really wonder if that is true, though, because being that we are like 2 years now, well, I guess what are we kind of like a year after the pandemic? I feel like they would have picked it back up by now, but I just don't see influencers talking about Morphe anymore. And on top of that too, I feel like Morphe themselves, they obviously cut ties with these influencers because of controversy, but Morphe themselves have been proven to be controversial. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, and it's like, okay, really, like clearly you guys are not the most morally correct company either. Anyways, cutting relations with Jeffree Star and James Charles, two longtime cash cow collaborators, following accusations of racism and sexual misbehavior, made these difficulties much worse. Miles McCormick, who oversaw the company's boom period, was succeeded as chairman and CEO in March by former Too Faced executive Eric Hole. The Morphe brand represented the Instagram and YouTube periods of the millennial generation, but times have changed and Gen Z has gone to TikTok. If Forma Brands can return this around, only time will reveal. So basically, it continues on right here. Honestly, I probably only just read half of the article right there. I did want to read that because obviously it is a little bit of an update, and I feel like they obviously articulate it way better than I would have. That's why I wanted to read it. But if you guys are interested in reading the full article, you guys can head over to discontinuednews.com because, like I said, that is only half of it. But then it just goes into the whole like selling of it, the whole like, are they FDA approved, like things like that. Other things that I feel like are a little bit irrelevant to what I'm going to be talking about today. So fast forward to now, I did want to make this video as soon as I saw it. However, I had family over for the holidays and I just did not have time to film this. So I do apologize. I am a little bit late, but I did see this TikTok that was going viral, as well as people were sending me pictures of several different Morphe locations being completely wiped out, like completely empty. The shelves were empty, like they are ready to just shut down the business completely. So I'm going to go ahead and play this TikTok right here so you guys can check it out.
On their last day open.
Okay, so I want to preface this by saying no hate to that girly. I know that if I walked in on a closing sale, I'd be excited too. But that store is my store. I'm the store manager of that specific Morphe. And I just, again, no hate to her, you know, but it needs to be said because I don't know why I'm not hearing anything about it. I'm assuming no one knows because, again, haven't really heard anyone talk about it. But Morphe has been closing retail stores for like at least a year now. Hush hush, real quiet. They're telling everyone that it's due to like lease stuff. Anyway, so like I said, I'm the store manager of one of those Morphes. Tomorrow's actually my last day. We're packing up the store. They told us on the 22nd of December that our last day of business is the 26th of December, which is today. And then tomorrow we're just packing up the store and we don't have a job anymore. What is that? 4 or 5 days notice that we don't have a job anymore. Yeah, that's all we got. We do get severance, which I know someone that's getting 1 week. I know that myself, I've worked there for about a year and a half, and my other associate who's been there since the store opened over like 3 years ago, also 3-week severance. I just want to get the word out. I don't know why no one's talking about it. Because there's been a lot of stores now. I've known people personally, other store managers, other associates for Morphe. Yeah, I just want to say justice for Morphe retail employees.
So as y'all can see from right there, I feel like it is really messed up. I do want to note this though, and a lot of people were actually commenting in the comment section of that, saying that Morphe is generous, being that she said that she was only on for a year and a half, that she's getting a severance package of 3 weeks. I do want to say I feel like that is pretty good considering that she was only there for a little bit of time. I don't know how that is. If you guys are Morphe employees down below, please let us know down below because I really am curious to know. I do want to say at least they are getting a severance package. I don't know if that's something that is required by law or if it's just generosity of the brand. I do want to point that out, and I do give them credit for at least giving severance packages because I feel like that's the least they can do, especially with such a short notice. Like, how can you just, some people only have 1 week of severance and then have to find a new job? That kind of sucks, you know? So I want to go ahead and read, this is one of the comments right here that I was talking about. Less than 2 years there, they gave her 3 weeks severance. That's generous. They are shutting shops. Happens all the time when a business does better online. And I wanted to note that because I really do feel like this day and age, a lot of people aren't really shopping in store. And I see that with clothing companies. You guys know that I complain about it all the time. Being a bigger guy, it's super, super difficult to find clothes in person. I feel like everywhere I go, there is plus size women clothing. However, there's not plus size men clothing. And y'all, being that I am like fat and tall, it's so difficult to find clothes. So I get very frustrated having to shop online because honestly, 9 times out of 10, I'll buy something from like Fashion Nova or ASOS or Boohoo and I'll get it and it's too short because I have such a long torso and like little short legs. So I prefer finding stuff in person, and it just sucks that everything is going geared towards online shopping. But what I just don't understand is how many people shop online for makeup. Like, I just can't do it. I could do it for like eyeshadows and maybe like blushes, but when it comes down to complexion products, whether it be like powders, concealers, or foundations, I literally just cannot buy it online. I have tried before with Sephora and their whole like shade finder thing, and it has never worked out for me. Like, literally never. Every single time that I try something from online, I have to end up exchanging it in person and swapping out the color, and I hate having to go through that process. So I do feel like it sucks when it comes down to the whole makeup realm of shopping online, but I do totally get it. When a business has so many freestanding locations or brick and mortar locations, it's obviously going to get very costly, not only to pay the employees, but then to pay the rent, you know what I'm saying? And then if you want to like update the store and do like decor and stuff like that, it's going to get really costly, rather rather than just having a warehouse. So the continues comment on and on and on. If you guys are interested on this, it's on TikTok. You guys can check out the girl's TikTok. But I did just want to note this. A lot of people are obviously saying if the brand would have been loyal to Jeffree Star and James Charles, then they would probably still be thriving. But I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, only because I'm actually going to be doing another video about like Jeffree Star, because he's doing a lot of massive sales right now on his site, only because I feel like he's struggling to sell products. So I wonder if they would have like been in cahoots with Jeffree still. I don't necessarily know if that would have saved their brand. Do you know what I mean? Only because I feel like Jeffree himself is like, he's basically no longer on YouTube. He pretty much does his like new collection reveals on YouTube and that's it. And then on top of that too, all his other social media isn't really popping off like how it was 4 or 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if he necessarily would have saved the brand, but you guys can answer that down below and let me know. That is it for this video. Make sure you guys check out my second channel. I have new videos every single Sunday. I actually just did a very festive one. Me and my brother went to Disneyland and we tried out all the festive foods at the, what is it called? Festival of Holidays at Disneyland. So make sure you guys check that out. It'll be linked down below. Make sure you guys go give a like over there and give this video a like too. I would really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, Girl Scout.